The witch is back at the office, Ma. A female voice whispered on the phone. She's having an affair with my boss. Last time, I caught them at the restaurant, making love. Christabel froze in the corridor. Cold sweat trickled down her back. Her secretary's voice was dripping with venom. Her knees felt weak. She blinked rapidly, rubbing her mascara-stained eyes as if trying to erase what she just heard. The girl she had trusted. The one she treated like a younger sister. Ma, you have to do something about it. The secretary pressed on, laughter slipping from her lips before she ended the call. Then silence. Rita turned, and her face drained of blood when she saw Christabel standing there. Ma, it's not what you think, she stammered. The sound of the slap cracked through the hall. Rita's head jerked to the side, her cheek burning red. Christabel's chest heaved with rage. What did I ever do to deserve this betrayal? She demanded, her voice breaking. Ma, I'm sorry. Rita dropped to her knees, sobbing. But Christabel's voice grew sharper. I trusted you, Rita. I gave you the new company car. I fought for your salary increase. I even used my own pay to help your sick mother. And this is how you repay me. I was desperate. Rita cried louder. I got into a financial mess. I didn't know what else to do. Christabel's hands trembled. If you had asked me, I would have helped you again. But you chose lies. You chose betrayal. Her voice lowered, cold and final. Leave. Just leave. Rita clung to her legs. Please, Ma, this job is my life. Rita, don't make me repeat myself, Christabel snapped, jerking her leg free. Walk out before I call security. Rita's eyes flared with something darker. This company isn't yours. You can't throw me out. Christabel turned slowly, her voice like steel. I hired you out of hundreds of graduates. I can replace you tomorrow. The office doors burst open. Security guards rushed in. You shameless woman. Rita spat, venom dripping. Still clinging to your boss's bed at your age? You'll die alone. The guards grabbed her arms, dragging her away as she screamed curses down the hall. Christabel froze mid-step, her fists trembling. Lonely? At 31? The irony almost made her laugh. Rita, the same woman bouncing from one man to another, dared to call her lonely. Make sure she never sets foot here again, Christabel ordered quietly. The guards nodded. She shut her office door, sliding down against it, tears spilling freely. Betrayal from the one she trusted most. And then, the bitter Esther clawed its way out of her heart, one she had buried for years. She loved Prince. She had always loved him. From childish makeup experiments in university just to impress him, to adopting his football team, to sacrificing her hobbies when he mocked them. It was never friendship. It was an obsession. But Prince never saw her, not as a woman, only as his childhood shadow. The realization crushed her. Her thoughts were broken by shouts outside. She rushed back to the reception just in time to see Esther, hair disheveled, face twisted with rage, fighting the guards. You cheap prostitute, Esther screamed, lunging toward her. Christabel caught her wrist mid-air before the slap could land. Her grip tightened, her voice low and dangerous. Don't you dare. Don't mistake my silence for weakness. She squeezed Esther's cheeks until the woman winced. Try this again, and you won't be as lucky. Fear flickered in Esther's eyes. For the first time, she stepped back. Get out, Christabel hissed. Before I count to 10. Humiliated, Esther staggered back, tears in her eyes, and stormed out of the premises. Christabel turned to the staff, forcing calm into her voice. Please, everyone, return to work. I apologize for the chaos. Whispers filled the air, unease hanging heavy in the room. Back in her office, she reached for her phone to call Prince, when the knock came. Come in, she muttered. The door opened. 2 uniformed officers stepped inside. The officer's voice cut through the air like a blade. Madam, you are under arrest for the assault of a pregnant woman. Mrs. Prince, you will need to come with us. Christabel froze, her eyes widening in disbelief. Excuse me, she asked, too shocked to process what she was hearing. Madam, please cooperate, the officer repeated, pulling out the cold, metallic handcuffs. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law. Now move it. Gasps filled the office. Employees stood glued to their spots, some whispering, others shamelessly pulling out their phones to record. Christabel's heart sank as the cuffs clicked shut around her wrists. The walk of shame through the company lobby was worse than a nightmare. Every eye followed her. Every whisper pierced her pride. By the time they shoved her into the police van, humiliation weighed heavier than the chains on her wrists. At the station, she was stripped of her wig, her bag, her watch. No chance to call her lawyer. No chance to breathe. Within minutes, she was thrown into a dirty, overcrowded cell. Mosquitoes buzzed, rats scurried, and the stench of sweat and beans filled the air. Tears streamed freely down her face. She cried until her throat burned, until her voice cracked, until exhaustion forced her into a restless sleep. But even in sleep, Esther haunted her, laughing, mocking, gloating. When she woke, reality was no kinder. Other inmates taunted her, pushed her, slapped her across the face. They called her names, accused her of being a politician's plaything. Christabel held back her words. Survival meant silence. Hunger clawed at her stomach, but the sight of half-cooked beans and watery potatoes turned her stomach. She refused to eat, even when the others mocked her. Days passed. No food. No water. Her body grew weaker, her spirit thinner. By the 5th day, she could no longer stand without trembling. And when she finally picked up a spoon to taste the bitter soup, one of the rougher inmates yanked her by the hair and slapped her. This time, Christabel snapped. She grabbed the hot bowl and poured it over the woman's face. Screams erupted, fists flew, and the whole cell turned against her. She backed into the wall, no escape in sight, until wardens rushed in to break up the chaos. Bloodied and bruised, she was dragged to the interrogation room, where a nurse cleaned her wounds. That night, Christabel prayed like never before. She begged God for mercy, promising to change, promising to return to him if only he would get her out. And then morning came. "Someone has come to bail you," an officer said. Her heart leapt. Prince. It had to be Prince. But when the door opened, it wasn't him. It was Sylvia, tears in her eyes, standing beside a man Christabel faintly recognized but couldn't place through the haze of pain. Relief washed over her as they signed her out and rushed her to the hospital. Broken rib, bandaged wounds, but alive. Days later, she was healing, slowly but steadily, with Sylvia faithfully by her side. That afternoon, as the quiet hum of the ward filled the air, a knock came at the door. "Come in," Sylvia called. Christabel looked up, expecting a nurse. But the last person she wanted to see walked in with a smug smile. "Prince, what are you doing here?" Sylvia snapped. Prince chuckled. "Relax. I just came to see an old friend." "Friend?" Sylvia scoffed. "You're unbelievable." Christabel squeezed Sylvia's hand, silently asking her to step aside. Reluctantly, Sylvia left, her eyes burning with anger. Prince leaned against the bedframe, smirking. "So how was prison life?" Christabel's jaw tightened. "Lovely. Thanks for asking." He laughed, shaking his head. Still sharp-tongued. "You don't even look that bad. I expected worse." "Prince, what do you want?" she snapped. "Calm down, Tigress. I just came to compensate you." He dropped a check onto her bedside table. 5 million naira. For all your trouble. Consider it severance. You can work remotely if you want, but you're banned from stepping foot on company grounds. My wife has taken over your position. Christabel's eyes flicked to the check. 5 million. After everything she had sacrificed. After all the blood, sweat, and years she had poured into that company. Prince, 5 million? Christabel repeated in disbelief. The figure wasn't small, but it wasn't nearly enough to cover the cost of her treatment, or even the bribes that had silenced the police. It wasn't enough for the years she had poured into the company. It wasn't enough for her dignity. "Leave," she said coldly, her voice breaking but firm. Prince smirked, clearly unbothered. "Christabel, it's not that deep." Before Christabel could respond, Sylvia cut in sharply. "Time up. Mr. Man, leave before I call security to drag you out. You have a reputation to keep, don't you, Mr. Prince?" The hatred in her voice burned like fire. If looks could kill, Prince would have dropped dead. He paused at the door, his eyes narrowing. By the end of tomorrow, you better start dusting your CV, he warned before turning to leave. Christabel picked up the check from her bedside and waved it in the air. Prince, I think you forgot something. No, he sneered. You'll need it, considering you've been living off my family for years. Without hesitation, she tore the check into tiny pieces and threw them at him. Thank you for reminding me how foolish I've been. I won't make that mistake again. Prince chuckled darkly, then walked out without another word. For the first time in years, Christabel didn't cry for him. She didn't beg. Instead, she sat back in silence, her chest heavy, but her eyes dry. The next morning, Sylvia arrived with a food flask. The aroma of fresh bunga soup filled the room, stirring memories Christabel thought she had buried. She hadn't tasted this soup in years, not since Prince mocked her love for it. She had given it up just to please him. Back in university, Adamu had made this soup for her countless times. She remembered his laughter, his patience, and how she had brushed him aside to please Prince. Christabel, Sylvia's voice broke through her thoughts. Don't tell me you're still thinking about him, Prince. Christabel asked softly. Yes. Do you still love him? Christabel hesitated before whispering. I thought I did. For 32 years, I believed I loved him. But it wasn't love, it was obsession. I loved a version of him that never existed. Sylvia squeezed her hand gently. You need healing, Christabel. Therapy. And a fresh start. Christabel nodded, though her heart wrestled with old wounds. As she savored the soup, one name echoed in her mind. Adamu. Later that day, Sylvia revealed the Tiester. The man who bailed you out, who paid your hospital bills. That was my friend Tim. You'll meet him soon. The name stirred something deep within Christabel, though she couldn't place it. That night, she dreamt of Adamu, older now, standing with 2 children and a beautiful wife. She woke with tears in her eyes, whispering a prayer. By the next morning, she was discharged. Sylvia took her home, only for the security guard, Adamu, to stop them. Madam, thank God you're safe, he said nervously. Oga Prince came with his wife. They said, you no longer live here. The apartment is sold. The words hit her like a blow. Prince had stripped her of everything, the company, the house, her dignity. When she called him, his mocking laughter echoed through the phone. You can't survive Lagos without me. Work remotely or be nothing. I'd rather beg on the street than be your puppet. Christabel snapped before ending the call. Broken, she collapsed in tears, but Sylvia lifted her up. You're staying with me. End of discussion. Days later, as they sat watching a movie, a knock came at the door. Sylvia rushed to answer, her face lighting up with a smile. Christabel, meet my friend Tim, she said proudly. Christabel turned, and her breath caught. The room froze the instant their eyes met. It was as if time itself held its breath. Adamu, Christabel whispered, her breath catching. Her heart skipped wildly. He looked different now, sharper, stronger, his presence commanding. Sylvia's brows furrowed. Wait, Tim, Christabel. Do you both know each other? Silence. No one answered. Their eyes locked, heavy with unspoken history. Finally, Adamu broke the moment. We knew each other back in university. She was a friend. The word friend cut into Christabel's chest. What had she expected? That he would smile? That he would embrace her after the cruel things she once said? Sylvia gasped lightly. Oh, no wonder. I thought I was introducing 2 strangers. But Adamu, why didn't you tell me? The way you ran like Usain Bolt when I said she was in trouble. She laughed, looping her arm possessively around his waist. Christabel's heart sank deeper. Yet Adamu didn't return the gesture. He remained stiff, distant. They all settled in the living room. Christabel sat alone, while Sylvia leaned close beside Adamu at the far corner. The movie played, but Christabel couldn't focus. Every burst of laughter from Sylvia at Adamu's words was like salt pressed into an open wound. Then came the question. So Adamu, is that your real name or just what they call you? Sylvia teased. From the corner of her eye, Christabel saw Adamu's jaw tighten. Her breath caught. Memories crashed back. The day she had told him his name was too local. mocking it as if it belonged to a shoemaker. She had been cruel. Adamu's voice came low. It's just one boring name. He turned his eyes to the television, but Christabel knew he was restless. Sylvia giggled. I like it. Can I call you that? His reply snapped like a whip. No, don't ever call me that. Sylvia froze, shocked. She didn't know the weight of that name. She didn't know the scars. Tears stung Christabel's eyes. I broke this man. She doesn't know the T. Esther, that the woman she thinks is an angel was once a devil. Adamus softened, realizing his sharpness. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoken so harshly. The name just brings back memories I'd rather forget. He rose abruptly. I'll take my leave now. Thank you, Miss Christabel, for receiving me. Sylvia pouted. Why so soon? Did I say something wrong? No, Adamu forced a smile. There's an emergency at the restaurant. I'll come another time. He gave her a brief air kiss and headed out. Christabel sat frozen, haunted. Later that evening, after Sylvia returned, Christabel excused herself. She retreated to her room, falling into her pillow. Her tears spilled fast, hot with regret. The cruel words she had once spoken to Adamu replayed endlessly. She had pushed him away, thinking it would free her. But all it did was break him. For days, she barely left her room. Even Sylvia grew tired of trying to coax her out. The following Monday, a knock came at the door. Christabel opened it to see Mrs. Tina, their 57-year-old American neighbor, married to a Nigerian man. Good morning, dear, Mrs. Tina greeted warmly. How's the ribcage healing? Christabel smiled faintly. I'm getting better, Ma. Mrs. Tina handed her a flyer. My husband and I are partners in a charity organization. We help women learn to read and write, and we support the less privileged. We'd love for you to volunteer if you're free. Christabel's eyes softened. Teaching had always been her dream. And so, that Monday, she stood before eager women, teaching them words, letters, and sentences. Their smiles filled her heart with peace. For once, she felt alive again. As the class ended, she stepped outside, glowing with quiet joy. A voice came behind her. I knew you'd be good at this. She turned. It was Adamu. Her heart stumbled. Thank you, she stammered. He turned to leave, but desperation seized her. Adamu, please, can we talk? He didn't stop. He walked on. She ran after him. Please, just hear me out. He froze, his back still to her. His voice was hard. There's nothing left to talk about, Christabel. Her chest contracted, pain flaring through her healing ribs. Her vision blurred. The ground tilted beneath her feet. She collapsed. Christabel. Adamu's voice cut through the haze as he caught her by the shoulders, pulling her into his arms. Her body slumped against him. His voice was firm, but not without warmth. Why did you run like that? You should take care of your health. She wanted to tell him, I ran because I needed to reach you, Adamu. But exhaustion stole her words. Her breathing steadied slowly under his hold. Relief washed over her. Safe. She felt safe with him. She whispered weakly, thank you. A small chuckle escaped him, but her heart carried a weight. She gathered courage. Adamu, I need to apologize. I wronged you. I've carried guilt for years. He stopped her, his tone sharp. So this is all about guilt? No, she shook her head, trembling. I was horrible. I hurt you. His eyes burned, pain deep within. You broke me, Christabel. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She nodded. She knew. She had destroyed something precious. Memories hit her like a storm. The cruel words she once spat on campus, calling him a lost puppy, spreading lies that his mother was a concubine, mocking his name, humiliating him before others. I'm sorry, she cried, her voice cracking. I said terrible things. I made you feel less than you were. Adamu's jaw tightened. You don't know what those words did to me. I was depressed. For months. Then years. I fell into drugs. I nearly killed myself with an overdose, if not for my uncle. Christabel gasped, her heart twisting. No, Adamu, I didn't know. His voice was quiet, trembling. I left Nigeria. I went through therapy, rehab. Slowly, I built my life back. Her tears wouldn't stop. I was a spoiled brat. I didn't want to settle for less, so I made you feel worthless. I regret everything. I don't deserve forgiveness." He looked at her, eyes glistening. "Krista, I forgive you." The sound of that old nickname broke her. He hadn't called her that in years. The coldness was gone, not replaced with love, but something softer. Healing. "Really?" she whispered. He chuckled. That sound was enough to ease her trembling heart. But then his eyes turned serious. "You'll have to give me time." She nodded quickly. "Take all the time you need." Gratitude filled her chest. "Thank you, Jesus." The rain poured outside as they sat together, talking. Sports, games, school memories. Their laughter intertwined with the storm. Adama leaned back, thoughtful. "You know, I'm surprised you and Prince never got married." Christabel scoffed. "Thank God we didn't. For years, I wondered why you didn't see the jerk he was. I know his father paid your bills, but," he trailed off. She sighed. "I was stupid. Obsessed. Not in love." His voice grew harsh. "You always loved him." She flinched. "No. I was obsessed. You were right. Any love that tries to change you isn't love. I was clinging to a version of him that never existed." They both chuckled softly, remembering their younger selves. But the tea ester lingered. "You didn't deserve how I treated you," she admitted. "No. But I survived." His smile was tired, but proud. "Therapy saved me. Rehab gave me a second chance. And now I follow my passion." Cooking. She knew. She had always admired his gift. "I'm proud of you, Adamu," she said, her voice firm. He smiled. "You should see a therapist too, Krista. It helps." She hesitated. "Really, talking saved me. It can save you too." He reached into his pocket, pulling out a small card. "Here. My therapist's contact." As he rose to leave, Christabel's heart pounded. She wanted to tell him she loved him. But the words froze. Instead, she whispered, "Your name, Adamu, it's beautiful. Strong. Resilient. Just like you." He paused, back still turned. Then slowly, he faced her. "Thank you. But Adamu is a part of my past now." "No," she countered softly. "Adamu is the strongest man I know." Their eyes locked. Finally, he extended his hand. "Friends." Her lips trembled as she took it. Friends. This time, it didn't hurt. Forgiveness had found her. That night, Christabel hummed and danced softly to herself. Lightness filled her soul for the first time in years. Sylvia teased, peeking into her room. "This one you're in a good mood. Did you win a lottery?" Christabel laughed. "Nothing special." But inside, her heart sang. The following week, Adamu grew closer again. He often sent food from his restaurant for her and Sylvia. For once, life felt bright. Until that evening. The door opened. Christabel rushed to greet him. But before she could speak, Sylvia ran first, throwing her arms around him. Christabel froze. Her world shattered as she watched them kiss. "Hey, baby," Sylvia beamed, clinging to him. Christabel's voice cracked. "Okay, what's happening here?" Sylvia's smile widened as she held on to Adamu. "Christabel, Tim just asked me to be his girlfriend." Sylvia giggled, pressing her lips to Adamu's. He returned the kiss, his arms sliding easily around her waist. Christabel froze. She gripped the edge of the couch for balance, her heart shattering silently while her face forced a smile. The three of them sat together, but the room no longer felt the same. On the opposite couch, Sylvia and Adamu cuddled like two souls who had finally found each other. Christabel's gaze lingered on them. Sylvia's beauty glowed in the dim light. Adamu's kindness radiated with every small gesture. They were perfect, perfect for each other. Except for one thing, her heart. It splintered quietly, but she swallowed the pain. "Why are you so quiet?" Sylvia teased, resting her head on Adamu's shoulder. "This is her favorite movie," she added quickly, before Christabel could answer. Christabel laughed, a hollow laugh. "I've watched this before." She stood, brushing invisible dust from her clothes. "I'm tired, guys. We'll catch up some other time." "But it's just 8, Sylvia called. Concern laced in her voice. "Are you fine?" Christabel forced a smile. "I'm fine. I have work tomorrow. You two should enjoy yourselves." She walked away, but that night, sleep never came. She lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, asking herself the same question over and over. Why was she always unlucky in love? By dawn, her decision was made. She would return to Delta State. Back home, to family. Back to the only place that still felt safe. She packed quietly, clothes, laptop, important documents, and the last of her strength. Her savings would cover the flight. The rest she would figure out later. When she told Sylvia, tears filled her friend's eyes. "Did I do anything wrong?" Sylvia whispered. "No, Sylvia, you didn't." Christabel held her hand firmly. "Then why are you leaving?" I miss my mother. I need fresh air. A new start." Sylvia nodded slowly before pulling her into a hug. "Can I come visit?" Christabel chuckled softly. "You don't need to ask. My home will always be open to you." Later that evening, at the airport, Christabel sat in the waiting area. Her ticket read seat 43, window side. Sylvia was still with her eyes sparkling as she scrolled through her phone. "I'm so happy Adamu and I are dating now," Sylvia said, showing off a picture of him. "He's amazing. I've been in love with him since the first day we met at his restaurant." Christabel smiled faintly. "I'm happy for you both. Adamu is a great guy." There was no point in telling her about the past. "Look at this." Sylvia giggled again, holding out her phone. A diamond bracelet shimmered on the screen. "He just bought me this." "It's beautiful," Christabel replied, forcing excitement into her voice. Minutes later, Sylvia rose to leave. "I need to get ready for our date." "Safe journey, my dear." Christabel waved, her chest hollow as her friend disappeared into the crowd. She sat quietly, waiting for the boarding call, when an urgent pressure pushed her to the restroom. On her way back, she collided with someone. "Are you blind?" a sharp voice snapped. Christabel blinked, staring at the woman in front of her, draped in a veil that hid most of her face. A slim man stood at her side, his arm tight around her waist. "Baby, let's go," the man urged. The voice. That voice. It was too familiar. Christabel's eyes widened. "Esther." The veiled woman froze for a second, then bolted. She ran towards a waiting car, the man close behind. Christabel stood frozen in the middle of the terminal. Her phone buzzed. A notification lit up the screen. "Breaking news. Mr. Prince, CEO of HTL Company, has been arrested for the murder of his wife, Mrs. Esther." Christabel's hand trembled as the phone nearly slipped from her grasp. The world around her tilted, and the noise of the airport faded into a deafening silence. Her thumb trembled as she tapped the notification. A picture appeared, Prince, his clothes soaked in blood, being dragged by the police. The report read, "Esther died after a night of domestic violence. Prince, allegedly drunk, fought with her and fatally stabbed her." Christabel gasped. Her pulse raced. Then who? Who was the veiled woman she saw at the airport with another man? She snatched up her phone and dialed Sonny, one of the company executives. His voice cracked with desperation the moment he answered. "Good morning, Ma. I've been trying to reach you for days now." Her voice was iced. "Why?" "Ma, Mr. Prince, he's been arrested for the murder of his wife." "And why are you telling me this?" "Because the company is collapsing. Money has been disappearing from unauthorized accounts. The government has seized everything. Investors are pulling out. Please, Ma, we need your help." Christabel exhaled sharply. "There's nothing I can do." His next words sliced through her. "Prince will be executed tomorrow. And his father is dead." "What?" Her knees buckled. "Uncle Sam, dead?" Before she could catch her breath, her phone rang again. It was Auntie Vicky. Her cries echoed through the line. "Christabel, everything is falling apart." Tears burned Christabel's eyes. "Auntie, I'll be with you soon." By evening, she arrived at the mansion. The once vibrant Auntie Vicky looked broken, pale, frail, her eyes ringed with dark circles. She clung to Christabel like a drowning woman. "My son is innocent," she cried. "That witch of a woman killed herself. Prince didn't kill her." No words could console her. Later, Bridget, Prince's older sister, explained in a hushed voice. "The neighbors said they heard them fighting. A scream. Then silence. When the police arrived, they found Esther dead. Prince was on the floor, covered in blood, with a knife in his hand. Christabel's voice cracked. When did this happen? Almost a week now, Bridget whispered. Then, with tears brimming, she added, and Dad isn't dead. He slipped into a coma. We're praying he'll wake up. Christabel promised to help, though her heart felt heavy. That night, her thoughts spiraled. She had seen Esther. Esther was alive. She wasn't imagining it. And if Esther was alive, then someone was framing Prince. The next morning, Christabel went to the prison. Prince was let out, bruised, beaten, his eyes hollow. He slumped into the chair opposite her. Laugh all you want, Christabel. I deserve it. She clenched her fists. I feel like slapping you. But I'm not here for revenge. I need answers. Prince looked away. I confronted Esther. She had been cheating with her ex. I was drunk. We argued. I blacked out. The next morning, there was blood everywhere. And the police. Christabel leaned in. Did you see your corpse? No. They didn't let me. They said it was taken to the mortuary. Her suspicion hardened. She had seen Esther. She wasn't dead. Who was her ex-lover? She pressed. Austin, Prince muttered. His name is Austin. Back at the mansion, Christabel dug through Esther's old Facebook posts. Years back, she found it, Esther in a photo, kissing the cheek of the same man she had seen at the airport. His arm locked around her waist. Her chest tightened. So Prince had told the T. Esther. With the help of David, a tech wizard and Prince's old roommate, they tracked Austin's location. He was holed up in a hotel with Esther. They moved in with the police. Christabel knocked. The door creaked open. Esther appeared, veil gone, her face pale as chalk. Surprise, Esther, Christabel sneered. Or should I say ghost? Esther's lips trembled. Christabel, what are you doing here? I thought you were dead. Or did you resurrect? Don't worry, I'll help you. Officers, arrest her. Esther's knees buckled as handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Please, Christabel, listen to me. Prince never loved me. He loved you. Our house is filled with your pictures. He even tattooed your name. He only married me to get revenge because you never confessed your love to them. Christabel's breath caught. Revenge? Love? Her world tilted. Christabel, I was jealous. He compared me to you every day. I hated you. And when I found out the T. Esther, I broke. I was desperate. Esther screamed as reporters swarmed, cameras flashing. Christabel turned away, heart pounding. Hours later, Prince was released. Esther, Austin, and her father, the commissioner of police, were all arrested for fraud, theft, and faking her death. Prince found Christabel outside. He held her hand tightly. Thank you. I owe you my life. She pulled back coldly. I didn't do this for you. I did it because Esther deserved it. Still, his eyes softened. I'm sorry, Christabel. I want to make things right. Please forgive me. Before she could answer, his phone rang. His face lit up with shock. Jesus Christ. What is it? Christabel asked urgently. My dad, he just woke up from a coma. Days later, the family gathered at the airport, waiting. When Uncle Sam stepped off the plane, Prince's sister ran into his arms, sobbing. Prince hugged his father tightly, apologizing over and over. Christabel joined them, tears flowing freely. That night, the mansion lit up with celebration. Music, laughter, and dancing filled the halls. But the joy didn't last. Bridget called Christabel upstairs urgently. She rushed up, only to freeze at the doorway. The room was filled with glowing decorations, candles, roses, and giant letters that read, Will you marry me? Prince knelt on one knee, a ring in his hand. Would you do me the honor of marrying me? Cheers erupted from Bridget, Auntie Vicky, and the rest of the family. Phones flashed. Christabel's heart pounded. Everything in her wanted to scream yes. To be his wife. To finally live the dream she once carried. But something deep inside whispered no. Her lips parted. And softly, she said, No, no. The room froze. Everyone's breath caught at once. Then whispers tumbled like a wave. Prince's face darkened with anger, humiliation burning in his eyes. What do you mean no? He snapped, voice shaking. This is what you wanted, what you prayed for. And here I am, down on my knees, fulfilling your wish. Christabel smiled faintly. Nothing had changed. Prince was still the same, bossy, controlling, abusive. Do I look like damage control to you, Prince? Her voice cut through the murmurs. Do I look like someone who accepts leftover cake? Gasps filled the room. Prince's jaw tightened. Leftover cake? You, he scoffed. You're almost at menopause, still carrying pride like a crown. Christabel chuckled softly. Really, Prince? Is this how low you can go? My life is not a charity house for you to walk in and out of at will. His eyes narrowed. Don't forget, I've read your diaries. You wanted me. You have fantasized about me since secondary school. Christabel laughed openly now. Those diaries? 16 years ago. A schoolgirl's crush. An obsession I once mistook for love. But I'm free now, Prince. Free from you. Her words sliced deeper than a blade. Prince's face turned red. The only reason you care for me, he pressed, is because you still love me. Even in prison, you came for me. Christabel shook her head, laughing bitterly. You fool. I came for Esther. I came because your family once helped me when I needed a kidney transplant. I owed Uncle Sam, not you. The crowd murmured louder. Prince's face crumbled. I know my worth now, Christabel declared, her voice strong. I will not settle for less. Not for a second-hand man still obsessed with me. His body trembled. You never loved me? Not once, she said flatly. It was always the money. Always the image. You were never my dream, Prince. You were my distraction. Auntie Vicky rushed forward, her voice desperate. Christabel, say yes. Stop being stubborn. Christabel's eyes locked with hers. If I were your daughter, Auntie, would you want me to marry a man like Prince? Silence. The answer was clear, though unspoken. Christabel turned to leave, but Prince's broken voice followed her. Then why have you been single all these years? I thought you were waiting for me. She paused. For a moment, her own Esther surprised her. Because my heart belongs to someone else. I love another. Prince collapsed to his knees, wailing like a child. His family gathered around, but Christabel walked away, suitcase in hand, free at last. Back in Delta State, the air felt different, clean, raw, alive. Lagos had drained her, but home healed her. Her parents wept when she arrived, holding her tightly. Her mother apologized for the years of pressure to marry. Her father, recovering in health, smiled as he reassured her, we only want you happy, marriage or not. It was the first step of true healing. Therapy followed. The church followed. Slowly, Christabel rebuilt herself. She found peace in serving others at charity programs, giving clothes to the needy, serving meals to the homeless. And one day, as she washed dishes at a charity event, a familiar voice pierced the air. So, how long were you planning to run away from us? Her breath caught. Adamu. Tall. Strong. His dark skin glistened in the afternoon sun. His trimmed beard framed a smile she once knew too well. What are you doing here? She whispered. Before she could say more, Mrs. Pamela, one of the organizers, approached. Christabel, meet Mr. Holland, one of our biggest investors. Christabel blinked. Mr. Holland. Adamu Holland. A billionaire's grandson, yet standing there in modest clothes, sleeves rolled up, serving like an ordinary man. Her heart raced. Later, when the event ended, Adamu found her again. His chest heaved as he spoke. Christabel, I never stopped loving you. Even after all the hurt, my heart never let go. I gave you my heart long ago, and I can't take it back. Tears welled in her eyes. She thought of Sylvia, but then heard a familiar voice. Go on, Sylvia said gently. I forgive you. He loves you. And you love him. Stop hiding it. Christabel's heart cracked open. Adamu stepped closer, his hand reaching for hers. Christabel, I dreamed this day. I love you, with every fiber of my soul. Her lips trembled as she whispered back. I love you too, Adamu. Their lips met, slow, soft, raw, and passionate. A kiss that felt like home. Will you two stop kissing and let the singles breathe? Sylvia teased, laughter spilling into the air. The three of them laughed, hands intertwined, hearts healed. This shows that true love is not found in control, wealth, or obsession. It is found in freedom, humility, and respect. When you know your worth, you stop settling for less. And sometimes, the greatest healing is not in holding on, but in letting go, so that the right love can finally find you. Thanks for watching. To support our channel for more interesting videos, drop a comment on what you learned from the story. Like and share so that more people will watch our stories.